Since 2016, Metro Boomin has released about 10 official albums. I've gone through each and every single one of these songs and found 4 main formulas he uses for the Metro sound. Now, I know Metro uses samples. What I got here is not how I think he makes his own samples, but what it takes to achieve the Metro sound. In contrast to the last video I made, this one will not only include chord progressions, but sound selection, beat structure, mixing, and drums. This is the most in-depth analysis of any artist I've ever made, so no more wasting time and let's get into it. The first style of Metro production I want to break down is probably the most iconic, the classic Savage Mode sound. Now, this type of sound is not only present in both Savage Mode projects, but I actually found it in all these albums. I found that to achieve this Savage Mode sound you need 3 things, and the first one is the right sounds. The way most Savage Mode songs are structured is you have your bass instrument that will go through the entire song over and over. You can give it little breaks in between, but it will be the main part of the song, and usually for that they choose a low ambience pad. Behind it, you usually find a simple counter melody in the form of simple short phrases, or maybe even just a lead with a bunch of reverb. This can be a piano, a synth one-shot, bells, strings, or even a flute. And right at the end, Metro will usually switch it up by adding a different melody section, usually with strings or a piano. So here we have our sound selection list. The second thing you need is the right chords. Now this is the part of my earlier video I'm not so ashamed about. I've spent years breaking down chord structures from popular songs, so I know chords. And for this Metro Boomin style, the chords are pretty much what we concluded in the video. If you don't want to go back and watch it, here's a quick 30-second recap. You basically start with your scale, assigning each note a number from 1 to 7. And the way I want you to think of chords is by using the numbers in groups of 3. The way you choose these groups is simple: every other note. Meaning this one yes, this one no, this one yes, this one no. And done. Now you understand scale degrees. So if I tell you 1 chord, you're supposed to think, oh, that's 1, 3, 5. If I tell you 2 chord, you're supposed to think 2, 4, 6. If I tell you 5 chord, 5, 7, 2, and so on. And now that you understand chords, you can easily understand the chord structures I'm about to give you. These are the main 5 progressions you need to know, with this being the most important. I will explain these a bit better as we move along, but for now, let's go to the last step. And that is the right structure. Now, the structure of the beats themselves is pretty simple. For the melody part, I kind of already explained it when we were talking about sound selection. You mainly want your bass chords playing through the entire thing, using counter melodies for change in the songs. Here are a few structure breakdowns of melodies I found in this style. You can pause the video and take screenshots so you can use them later. If not, I'm also organizing all the info I'm giving you today in a nice short ebook, so you can access this info quickly anytime. And for the drums, there isn't much that needs to be said. Metro was one of the main figures shaping the 2016 era trap drum. So if you have any drum kit that includes the rack kick in it, well, you basically already have the sounds Metro uses. The drum patterns are pretty simple as well, leaving as much space for the artist's voice as possible. So essentially you want an 808, kick, snare, hi-hat, and open hat. Nothing else. No transition effects, almost no perks, no ambient sounds, nothing. So now that we know how this sound works, let's test it out. Okay, so for the sound selection we want a pad, and for the chords I'm going to choose the 1-4 progression. So that means 1, 3, 5 and 4, 6, 1. And a good trick used all the time in hip-hop is moving this note 1 octave down and deleting the middle notes. That turns this 1 chord into what we call a power chord, and for some reason that achieves a dark, powerful sound really easily. And now I'll grab a few one-shots I made and try to come up with something. The key here, besides having good sounds, is to stick to your chord notes mainly. I like to do that by using ghost notes in FL. I simply copy my chords into many octaves and freestyle from there. You can use other notes of course, but mainly stay in your chord notes. For the end section, I'll copy my pad chords but using my own strings. And from there, just add a basic drum structure. The idea is to build something that can work in different combinations, so the beat doesn't get boring but stays repetitive enough to allow the artist enough freedom to be themselves the interesting part of the song. For example, here if we need, we can take the pad and the flute out. Or we can use only the pad and the flute. Or add the string for more tension. That's the idea, to use this basic loop to be able to build many different sections. For the sound selection part, here you have a short breakdown of how they usually choose instruments for their songs. Again, you can stop and screenshot this, and I'll also add this in the short ebook I'm making for this video. But mainly you can see how they usually choose between 3 and 6 sounds, with piano, pads and bells being the main instruments used. And for the drum structure, you usually want to keep it in one of these 4 settings. Either 8-bar sections of kick and snare, 808s, hi-hats and snare, all of the sounds, or none of the sounds, which in FL looks like this. And using these structures, you basically play Lego and build yourself a beat. Again, more on this on the ebook I'm making for this video. And that's it. Once you understand the 3 basic steps to the Savage Mode sound, making beats in that style becomes pretty easy. Just start with a pad using one of our 5 chord formulas, and add counters using the same chord notes. And again, you pick a pad, add counters, and done! This is a very simple process because Metro designed it specifically to leave space for the artist's voice to become an instrument themselves. That's why it's so good. So give this process a shot, I assure you you'll be surprised how easy it is. And if you need help getting started, you can check out the file I made specifically for this video. That includes an ebook explaining everything you need to know for this style, including drums, chords and sound selection, as well as a one-shot kit with over 30 sounds I made myself, including all the sounds in this video, a MIDI kit including both full melodies and what I call blueprints, that I designed so you can drag and drop the MIDI and some one-shots and play around until you find something cool. A sample pack of my favorite samples I made with these one-shots, full FL projects you can use to either get inspiration on how to exactly structure your beats, or that you can simply use to make your own quick beats with, since all the sound selection, structure and mixing is already done for you. All you need to do is change the MIDI to your liking. And of course I also added a drum loop pack you can use to quickly add drums to your melodies to check if they work or not. I designed this to basically be its own little laboratory, where you get all the tools you need to master this sound, from MIDI to melody to drums. So feel free to check it out if you want, links in the description, and let's keep going. The second style of Metro production I want to break down is probably your favorite one, the simple arpeggio sound. This type of sound is probably the most catchy in hip-hop, and I found it in all these albums. To achieve the simple arpeggio sound, again you need 3 things, and the first one is also the right sounds. In my analysis, I found that the main instrument, that being the bass simple arpeggio itself, is usually either a bell or a piano. And from there, the idea is to use a mix of supporting instruments to help this arpeggio not get too repetitive, with the most common sounds being either synths or leads with a bunch of reverb as a counter melody. And in third place, you usually have either pads, strings, or synth chords that help give you a break from the repetitive arpeggio. Now, I didn't mention this in a previous section, but this also applies here. In all Metro songs I analyzed, there were a few mixing tricks used beyond clever sound variation. I mainly found these 3 techniques used to help sounds become less repetitive over the course of the song. The first one is reversing the sounds. If you have, for example, a deep pad that's been going on and on through the entire song, a good trick to not lose that vibe but add variation is simply reversing that sound. You can hear this trick using, for example, this song or this song. The second trick is EQ. Often a simple, harsh, low-pass EQ on an entire melody will not only open up space for the artist, but will also add a nice variation in the sound of the track that could feel like a break of the repetitive pattern used so far. You can hear that, for example, used in this song. And the last trick is halftime. This is probably the most obvious trick and is used primarily for intros. A good way to start a beat is simply by adding a halftime effect in the beginning and taking it out as the beat drops. And you can hear it, for example, in this song. However, half-timing sounds is not only useful there, you can also apply it in break sections in your song, where you first clone your melody one octave up and then half-time it. This will leave the melody in the same pitch but give you a slower sound, which is great for break sections. And all these tricks can also be applied here for the simple arpeggio sound. And now that you know them, we can move on to step 2, the right chords. Now, lucky for you, Metro designed his system to be simple and repetitive, meaning that for this sound, the exact same 5 chord structures we discussed in the previous section apply. Of course, they don't always use these chords, but for darker melodies, these are present about 90% of the time, which means that we can simply grab one of my blueprint MIDIs available in the file below, get some one-shots, and freestyle a bit until we have something catchy. Again, more melody tips and tricks will be available in the short ebook. And once you're happy with what you have, we can quickly structure the beat in the same way we did for the other section, as this sound style uses the same basic drums the Savage Mode sound does. So we can simply drag and drop a basic structure like this and apply changes to make it less repetitive. Also, of course, using any of the 3 mixing tricks we just went over. And done! And once you have this process down, making simple arpeggios becomes easy. You just drag and drop your sounds, choose a blueprint, and freestyle. A good tip is to try to use these notes that are very close to each other often, as they carry much dissonance between them. Which helps the dark vibe. And to check if your idea works, drag and drop some basic drums, and done! If you need help structuring the beat, here are some basic structures I found used in songs like these. Again, more detailed breakdowns available in the short ebook. Let's move on. The third style of Metro production I want to break down is similar to the last one, but different in very important ways. And that's because while this style also has an arpeggio at its core, the arpeggio is no longer a simple 4-note sequence, but a full-on melody. The difference can be more easily heard in melodies like Metro Spider or Ice Attack. Regardless of the difficulty, the process is fairly similar. We want a main arpeggio that we can use throughout the track, along with supporting sounds to avoid letting it get repetitive. The most used sounds for this style are pianos, strings, and bells. And as for chords, once again we want to use the same 5 basic progressions we discussed earlier. And as for the structure, here it is actually much simpler. The reason is that the arpeggio being now much more complex makes it much less likely that it will become easily boring. I found songs where Metro even let the entire thing play without changes until the end. And in most others, the arpeggio does play throughout the entire thing, but with supporting counters coming in and out to make it more interesting. So with that info, we can easily start with our choice of chords, or simply drag and drop a blueprint, of course. Add our sounds, and freestyle until we find something cool. A good trick for this style of melody, since this allows for a bit of a more complex sound, is to sample yourself, which basically means making a bass melody that you later bounce to audio, bring into Fruity Slicer or whatever sample editor you use, and with a beat cut and 200% speed you can use to make something new. This is especially good in cases where no matter how hard you try, you can't seem to come up with a good complex arpeggio. And of course, as usual, drag and drop some basic drums to check if your melody works. Again, all one-shots, MIDI, drums, and tips in this video will be available in the file in the description. Let's move on. And with that, we've arrived at the last style I'll be breaking down today. And that is my absolute favorite Metro Boomin sound, the dark piano. This style is very different to the others because the sound is much more present and aggressive, and I found it in all these albums. In terms of sound selection and chord usage, it's not too different from the others, in that we will also primarily be using our 5 main chord progressions and also using sounds like pianos, pads, bells, and strings. However, where it really becomes different is in the execution. This style can be recognized by the repetition of very aggressive, simple chords, usually letting the melody be the main attraction part instead of the artists themselves. Examples of this style can be Superhero, Young Metro, or Clock on My Lap. This style is the most fun to make because it allows you to basically take that tip I gave you earlier about power chords, a piano, and some basic drums and make the hardest melodies in very little time. In terms of structure, here are some basic ones I found in my research, which again will be available along with all the tips and tricks in this video in the short ebook below. But basically you want your main instrument, which you can make using one of the blueprints or using our 5 chord structures. Add a supporting lead below it, which is often either a bell, a flute, or most commonly strings. And usually for this one you want between 3 and 5 instruments for the entire thing, so don't overdo it. And for the drums, again, you can use some generic basic trap drums. Overall, the Metro sound is of course more complex than this. These are only 4 of his most popular styles. But I feel like this is a great way to learn the basics behind how dark melodies work. This video was an insane amount of work, so I might never do another one like this again. However, if you really want me to break down another artist production style, please leave suggestions below. And if this gets enough views, I might subject myself to this again. And if you want to grab the file down in the description as a reward for making it this far in the video, you can use code MOLTEN for a 15% discount. Remember, the file has an ebook with all the tips and tricks in this video, all 31 shots used in it, a MIDI kit with blueprints, my favorite samples, full FL projects you can draw inspiration from, and a drum loop kit to check if your melodies work. Thank you so much for watching, and if you like this video, you might also like this one. And that's it. See ya!